Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of All in All with Alex. I'm your host, of course, Alex. Today we have a very special guest, Miss Sabrina Osso from Osso Safe. How you doing today?
Very well, Alex. Thank you so much for having us.
No problem, no problem. I thank you for taking the time out your busy schedule to come on today and have a chat with me and to bless our audience with your knowledge and everything that you have going on. So, can you give everybody a quick background about yourself before we dive in today?
Sure, sure. My name is Sabrina Osso from Osso Safe. Feel safe where you live, learn, work, and play. I am a TEDx speaker, a real estate agent, and a children's author on creating and maintaining respect in homes, workplaces, and schools. Uh, and I'm also a dancer. I have taught dance, and we could go more into that as we progress in the interview, but that's me in a nutshell.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So, what inspired you to start Also Safe?
I've had enough therapy. I've been in and out of therapy for quite some time to be comfortable enough to say that I am a survivor of violence. My father beat my mother on a regular basis. My mother would beat me, so I know firsthand how difficult it is to live in that type of environment. And as I said, I'm a dancer, but I started dancing late, in my 20s, early 20s, and I couldn't even mention dance in the home. When you live in that type of environment, your life is stolen because you're constantly hearing, yelling, screaming, verbal, physical, sexual abuse on an ongoing basis. So you can't think about what it is that you really want to do. You're fighting battles every day, war even every day in your own house. So it wasn't until I moved out that I began realizing who I was, what it is that I wanted to do. And I started dancing. Luckily I live close proximity to New York, so I was able to take the bus and the subway to all these classes, Broadway Dance Center, Steps, Alvin Ailey, those three. I was dancing 12 classes a week, auditioning heavily. Um, so yeah, and I was getting gigs, and but I started writing a one woman show, and I wrote it, I choreographed it, and I performed it. And I played, the show is called Home Sweet Home question mark. I play different women being abused. She goes to her good place. That's where the dancing comes in. But then she's pulled back into the terror of violence. The show ends really strong, really empowering. And I did a lot of research for the show. And Alex, I couldn't believe the statistics that I was finding, how common this was, how I mean, across the globe, really. And it's also men and women being abused, not just women, men also. So I said to myself, I need to make this into a business, a bona fide business with products and services that could really help people. So that's how Osso Safe was born. And yeah, so that's how I built the company. We're not a nonprofit, we're not a charity. I want to point out on your show to your listeners, to your audience. We cannot resolve this huge problem of violence, abuse, chaos, dysfunction in the home by treating it as a charity. People need to pay for it, they need to pay for how to be respectful in the home, to be trained to practice it so that way it actually gets resolved. So I hope I answered the question.
Yes. 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 You did. So, um, so how does the Also Safe Home Sweet Home package benefit the real estate industry?
Yes, yes. Great question. Uh, I am a real estate agent, so I have access to systems, MLSs, contacts, landlords, property owners, property managers, buyers and sellers, renters, so on and so forth. Um, our core product is the Home Sweet Home package. It consists of a policy, a seminar, an app, and therapists assigned to the property. So just to give a brief explanation of each one, um, we are set right now. We want this to propagate. Well, we want this to propagate over all types of residency, whether you rent, whether you own, whether you have a mortgage or not. But we're focusing right now on the landlord tenant portion of the industry because that's the path of least resistance, if you will.
Mhm.
We're saying, Mr. and Miss Landlord, hire us. We'll get your property Osso Safe certified. What does that mean? It means that they purchased the Osso Safe Home Sweet Home package. The policy basically states, I as a landlord, I promise to provide you a safe space for you to live. You in turn as my tenant, as my resident, you promise to not act in any way, shape, or form abusively. Otherwise, you, the abuser only, gets immediately evicted from the premises, and we go into full knowledge knowing that that would be the consequences. So it's not going to be a surprise. You know that that will be the consequences in an OSSO safe certified property.
Mhm.
The seminar, the OSSO Safe Home Sweet Home seminar, educates everybody, adults and children alike, on facts, statistics, warning signs, definitions of abuse, the difference between abuse and discipline, what constitutes a good relationship, what are the warning signs of a bad relationship. So that way you know, oh, if I pull my partner's hair, that constitutes abuse. Now you know. The third component is an app. I hired a software company to design an app, and it detects violent like movements and captures them in real time, issuing alerts to the landlord. So let's say the landlord has 10 units. Oh, wow, I just got two alerts. I just saw you beat the crap out of her in my unit 2, and you just beat the crap out of him in my unit 10. Well, this constitutes abuse. So this is grounds for eviction. You knew that that this was going to happen. You are held to a higher regard, a higher standard in an OSSO Safe certified property. We don't allow this. You have to go. So that way, the rest of the tenants or residents are protected. So that's the app. The fourth and final component are therapists assigned to the property. So you are required in an OSSO Safe certified property to check in with your therapist once a month. Is everything okay? Do you feel like anything is troublesome along the way? And just to give an example, well, Mr. and Miss Therapist, our child came home with bad grades. We don't know how to handle this. We know we're not going to beat him or her. We're not going to verbally disparage him or her, but help us through this because we don't know how to handle this. So, and I want to say also with the package, a very important component. Children have a say in an OSSO Safe certified property. So they have voice and choice. Our children's book, I don't know if you can see, it's the Home Safe Home for You and Me. This book basically lays the groundwork for respect, and it gives voice and choice to children to speak out if they're being abused. Now, we don't call out anyone. We don't say, okay, how many of you are being abused? No one is going to say anything, right? I mean, what child is going to admit it at first? But in the book, we explain something called the Osso Safe Kids Cheer, and it goes like this. I want to live where I am Osso Safe, and I am Osso Safe with, and they get to fill in the blank. Now, they could lie. Maybe they'll say that they're safe with mom and dad, even though that's not true. That's okay. We know at Osso Safe, Alex, that abusive parents, abusive people, they can only keep their poker face on for so long. then their abusive true colors come out pretty quickly.
Right.
So we explain in the book the difference between respect and disrespect, abuse and non-abuse. So that way we talk about it openly and kids can vocalize and say, yeah, I'm not safe with dad. I'm safe with mom, or I'm safe with mom and not dad, or I'm not safe with anybody, neither parent. I'm safe with an aunt, an uncle, a grandparent, a close family friend. So the book lays the groundwork, excuse me, for respect, for empowerment, encouragement, freedom, um, oh so safe, if you will. After everybody signs the policy, everybody gets educated. The therapists are assigned to the property. The app is being worked on right now. It's being improved upon right now. All of these components working together makes for an Osso Safe certified property. Our logo gets placed outside of the property. That way, anybody driving or walking, they look at the logo and they say, wow, I want to raise my kid in an Osso Safe certified property. I'll feel safer there. My kids will be safe. They have mechanisms and systems in place. If and when abuse happens, I would feel better in an Osso Safe certified property versus one that isn't. So all of these components working together makes for preventative residency or home life versus waiting for an episode of violence to occur. Police come, bad news travels fast, and
Mm-hmm.
then before you know it, your safe practicing tenants leave, and then you're stuck with the abuser. We flip all of that. And this is all in the real estate industry.
Okay, that's. I like how you have it built. So basically, you're protecting everyone from the abuser. You know, because you have the children's book that allow the child to speak. You have the app that protects the abuse, and then you have the landlord that gets protected as well. Um, I mean, it kind of covers all bases, and then it kind of gives the abuser that reinforcement of, hey, if I do this, I'm gonna lose where I'm living, I'm gonna lose my home, and I'm gonna have to go find somewhere else to lay my head. So
Very good. Thank you for picking up on that. Wow, and I didn't even say that openly, but you figured it out.
yeah, I just
Actually, yes, very good, very good. Yes, the intent is you're an abuser, that has to stop.
mhm,
You you cannot act like a beast, like a barbarian, like a savage in your home and get away with it anymore.
mhm,
Everybody has a right to be safe. Everybody has a right to a respectful home. And we're going to get you evicted, expelled from the home. And yes, you could go live somewhere else, but the intent is to get that property also safe certified too. So either you modify your violent behavior or you're living nowhere.
mhm,
And that is actually beneficial for the neighborhoods, societies, communities. It'll
mhm,
be a dominoes effect in a good way,
mhm.
so thank you for picking up on that.
Yeah, yeah. I just I just noticed little things, just me listening and seeing all that. I mean, it's definitely good because I feel like some human beings do need that quote unquote negative reinforcement to it's like, hey, if you do something bad, you're gonna go to jail. People realizing that, like, hey, if I do this, I know I'm gonna go to jail, so let me not do that. you know if but they know, like, hey, I can do this and not go to jail because they know they can abuse it and people may not say anything. But now you have a way of it can be found out without them necessarily having to say anything. And so that kind of gives that negative reinforcement. So that's good.
Right, right. I like that. Yes, I didn't even think of it that way, actually. Yes, it's all we're making respect a required standard in all homes, which is how it should be,
Mhm.
because I want to applaud on your show all of the parents, people, but especially parents that practice what we're already saying to do.
Mhm.
Respect, positivity, empowerment, encouragement, freedom of choice. There's no violence, abuse, chaos, dysfunction. When there's conflict, it's handled in a respectful manner versus fighting, yelling, screaming, punching, hitting. That's not how you handle things. So we're making respect a required standard, and that's how it should be for all of us, as human beings, period.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I definitely agree. So let's see, and then in addition to that, I like the fact that with you doing that for everyone, you kind of looped it into the real estate industry as well. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of fascinating to me. But
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, because I really thought long and hard about this when I was building my business. What did I need growing up myself? What would have helped me? And I know if I had my own products and services back when I was growing up, my father and mother, for that matter, would not have gotten away with half the things they got away with, you know. So this benefits everybody, essentially. So we're working as fast as we can to get out there to market it, especially in the real estate industry, because that's where everything starts in the home. Everything.
yep, I definitely agree. I definitely agree. So
Thank you.
so how do you incorporate your background in dance into your educational efforts?
Yes, yes. Thank you for asking that. Well, especially well, for the real estate, we include when we educate, when we do the seminar,
Mhm.
we have a segment where it's like about an hour and a half. We have everybody together, adults and children, and then we separate them. We educate them together and then we separate them. And we do like a performance for the kids. So that way they understand, wow, she just played me. That's how I feel when there's any fighting, or wow, that's how it could be where I live in a safe home and there's no I don't have to be scared. I'm not crazy. We perform it through dance, through acting, sometimes singing, but it's mainly dancing and acting. So especially when it comes to, I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent. At the end of the seminar, we bring them back together. So we teach, at the beginning, we teach them together, then we separate them, educating them, and then we bring them together for a Q&A, questions and answers, and just get a feel on how everybody received the information, And we use dance, especially at schools and universities, because let's face it, what we talk about is a taboo subject, but it's very necessary. But we frame it in a way that is, we focus on the respect. It's about respect and positivity, empowerment, encouragement. We discuss verbal, physical, sexual abuse. We talk about it openly, and we use dance as a way to make it more palatable, if you will. Um, the one woman show that I wrote, choreographed, and performed, and I also did it with my students. We do flamenco, musical theater, African, swing, jazz, and Latin. So like all different styles of dance, hip hop. So that way, whatever student identifies with that particular style, they could feel like, wow, I feel included.
Mm-hmm.
she's, they're talking to me, like I get it, there's connection there. So
Right.
we use different styles to really be inclusive in the classroom or in the auditorium or wherever we get to do our workshop. um yeah, and it's a great way to get the kids to receive the information without attacking, without uh there's no finger pointing or asking, like I mentioned before. So who here is not safe at home? We never do that, but we communicate via the performing arts, if you will.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, and that's a good way to do it. That's a more more intriguing way to get people to open up because you're building that bond with them. You're that I can't remember the word that I'm looking for that people use it all the time in these movies when they're trying to um like they're trying to build stuff with the hostages and things like that. I can't remember the word. Think of the word I'm thinking of
I'm
right now.
sorry, build what? I'm sorry.
I'm trying to think of the word that they usually say. Um, I don't know. I can't remember it. But
It's okay,
anyway,
it's okay.
but
It's
anyway,
okay.
so I did notice you. So you won the Her Story Award in March of 2024. Um, so what does that award mean to you in your mission?
Yeah, so I still, I'm so grateful that I won it. Um I I am affiliated with, for my children's book, actually. I've been trying to promote it as much as possible. And one of the libraries that I went to, she is one of the members of the Women's Federation for World Peace. And I would attend some of their functions, events, and everything. And then they invited me to speak. And I explained the Osso Safe certifications for properties and everything, and what we're doing with children and incorporating real estate. And yeah, and then I was nominated, and I won it. And I thought, wow. And I specifically wanted to, for my commitment, our commitment to making children safe at home. And I just thought, wow, what a stamp of approval, what an honor. And to be recognized in any way, shape, or form. It just encourages you to go on and to continue, because this work is challenging and it's difficult. And it's in fact, it's one of the things that they say, that usually people that are trying to change the unchangeable, they face a lot of uh, opposition. So to keep going forward merits recognition. So I'm so honored. And it's just telling us at Also Safe to just keep going, and that we're on the right track. Even though certain people, and the people that don't agree, are essentially abusers.
Right. Right.
Of
Right.
course they're not going to be happy about our work. They want to continue abusing. Stay. Who are you to tell me how to raise my kid? We are.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
are. And the Women's Federation for World Peace, and they're known internationally, globally. They understand that. So we're so grateful. And it's just a green light to keep going, which means a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and and with everything that you have going on, I mean, being a CEO, a speaker, author, real estate agent. I mean, um, probably a mother as well. I'm not sure if you have kids, but how do you balance all that? I mean, that's a lot for any one person to do. So how do you balance all
It's difficult. It's difficult. It's I definitely do a lot of multitasking, juggling. Um, but in the last few years, I've learned meditation and like to say certain things that to remind myself. Like I say, and in fact, it was one of the things that I said in my speech, accepting the award. Let it be okay. When you make a wrong turn, let it be okay. When you spill something on your outfit, let it be okay. When you messed up, you deleted something and you shouldn't have, let it be okay. When you drop something and it's to pieces, let it be okay. Because you get upset on those things and you rage. It's taking away energy from other stuff, you know. So I have been inviting people and practicing it myself to say that and to live like that as best as I can. Let it be okay. And also something else is breathing, like conscious breathing, where I just, especially because I do have I get chest pains, and my cardiologist says to me, it's it's more emotional than anything. It's not anything physically wrong.
Mhm.
And so I've been consciously breathing, like where I actually have it in the book. I breathe, I hold it at the top for 4 seconds or 5 seconds. So, and you hold it and then you release, and it actually anchors you to the present moment. So when you anchor yourself to the present moment, you're not thinking about the past, you're not thinking about the future, the right here, right now. So, for example, our moment is my voice. I'm talking to you, Alex. I hear your voice. There's some sounds, in my where I'm recording, and that's it. So staying in the moment. Um, and I also want to say the kids. Unfortunately, I'm not a mother, a biological mother, but I have a lot of children. I feel that all children are my children because I'm we're working as fast as we can to get them safe, to be safe in their own home.
Right, right.
So and I have children in my life that I care deeply, and they are responding so well to Osso Safe and Osso Safe Kids and the book and the wristbands. We got wristbands that they actually ask me for. Like, Sabrina, can we have a bunch of them? I want to give it to this friend, that friend, to my teacher. It makes me so proud. And so I hope I answered the question about how I balance it. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. I mean,
and I want to mention something else, but and this is very important. But go ahead, go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead. I don't want to stop you. Go ahead.
And I should have said it with the certifications when I was talking about the certifications. Uh, Pornography is a big driver of violence, and a lot of kids are being exposed to pornography. And yes, men are perpetrators, some men, but women can be perpetrators as well. And I'm making it a point to say this to as many people as possible because a lot of people don't realize this. There are women called that do this. BDSM, that stands for bondage, domination, sadism, and masochism. These are women doing the sex abusing. They will have clients on a computer like how we are, and they do convulsing, revolting, disturbing things on and off camera or in person with their client. And they are all about pain equals pleasure, and they are dangerous women. They could be part of our PTA, our neighbor across the street. They're not in some faraway land, they are everywhere. And they are essentially sex traffickers. They will rope in any guy or woman for that matter, but let's use the example as a heterosexual relationship. They'll rope any guy that is submissive, and if that guy has any children, it is a recipe for disaster in that home with the BDSMer. She gets married, has her own children, they date, and a lot of people don't know this because a lot of people don't think that women can be the perpetrators, right? In pornography, in the porn world, BDSM. But I can tell you from personal and professional experience, and I'm making it a point to say this and to educate, to include this in the education for Osso Safe women, these women that do this, it is very dangerous, and especially for the children, because what they're doing is grooming the kids in that household to be like them. So, and it's sex trafficking essentially. And this happens everywhere. I don't care. It doesn't matter how rich you are, how poor you are. You live in a good neighborhood, bad neighborhood. There's no such thing. Neighborhoods are neighborhoods. Societies, communities are societies, communities. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the religion. It doesn't matter the nationality. It doesn't matter the ethnicity. The color of your skin. It's happening everywhere. So thank you for allowing me to say this, because these women are flying under the radar. Nobody suspects anything, and it's happening. It could be the woman next door across the street, and the male clients that go to her are also at fault. So don't get me wrong, but it's women doing the abusing. So thank you for allowing me to say this on your show. People need to be made aware, and the courts, this is the worst part of it, even another layer of horror, is that the courts don't recognize this as a crime. And it needs to be recognized as a crime because it's sex trafficking on the under the radar, so to speak.
I wonder why they. I mean, well, I don't. I don't know what they're. I don't. I'm not good at all the laws, so I don't know why they don't recognize that. But that'll be something we have to dig into. Um,
Right.
so let's see. Let's see. Okay, this will be a good one. So, do you have any success stories that just come to your mind off the top of your head, that stick out, where Osso Safe made a significant impact to someone's life? You don't have to share any names or anything like that.
Yes, we are getting our products and services into houses. We're doing our best, gaining momentum as best as we can. And actually, a client of mine, um, I represented him in a real estate transaction. He was my buyer, and his property, and then he became the owner, and he got his property also safe certified. It's a three family, I believe, if I remember correctly, 3-4 family. And yeah, we educated everyone, and he was so open-minded to allow it, to yes, I want this, I want protection, I want, and it's working out great. He's got kids, his tenants, he went through a few tenant cycles. They have kids, and he welcomed it, so, which is so great. It's so great. And this was near in On the East Coast, I'll say on the East Coast, because this is where I'm from, on the East Coast.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And just the kids in general, how they're responding to Osso Safe Kids, as I mentioned, and the book and the wristbands, and they're talking about the videos and yeah, I feel that all of those are mini success stories, if you will.
Okay. Okay. So, what inspired you to become a TEDx speaker, and what are like some of the things that you speak about?
Yes, the TEDx actually, my hairstylist at the time, she was a student at the New Jersey City University, and she knew about Osso Safe. I would talk to her about it, and she said to me, Sabrina, my university is hosting a TEDx. You should apply. So I did, and the application was really easy. Actually, it wasn't. It was, yeah, it was easy and straightforward, and I got it. I got it. I They accepted my whole platform, and the title of it is "If you're a victim of home violence, don't leave, stay." So I'm reversing everything. And with the TEDx talk or TED Talks, you can't promote yourself. You can't sell anything. You can't. So you have to present your material in a way that is purely educational without selling anything. And which is what we do at Osso Safe anyway. Like, but in a way, I was selling Osso Safe without saying it, because I kind of outlined the vision of real estate through that TEDx talk. In that TEDx talk, I map it all out, the vision of how neighborhoods should be free of violence, free of abuse, free of chaos, dysfunction, and substitute that with respect, positivity, safety. Yeah, it was so great. I'm so thankful to her. Her name is Natasha. Oh, she was so great to tell me about it. I got in, I got accepted, they did it very. It was a great platform for Osso Safe. That'll be in the cyber world forever.
Mhm.
It's out there, and it was professionally done. They had the TEDx crew there with the cameras and the logo, and because it gives you credibility,
Mhm.
and you could say it in every marketing material that you have. So yeah, thank you for asking. It was so great, and I'm eternally grateful to Natasha.
Oh yes, yes. So, let's see. So, what advice would you give someone that's wanting to create a safer environment?
uh it's a practice. You have to practice respect. I would say get us into your properties, get us into your schools, hire us in your workplaces, because what we're doing is pretty progressive. It's the most basic thing that exists. If you don't have respect, you can't do anything else. Respect equals safety. If you're in a respectful atmosphere, you're safe. So it's the foundation of everything. So I would say get us into your townhouse, co-op, condo, single family home, multifamily dwelling, a two-family home, a villa, a mansion, a mobile home, your senior community, your dorm. We'll get everybody Osso Safe certified. Um, we are strong believers in therapy. Um, Consider having a therapist in your life. They are a good therapist and not necessarily paying a lot of money for one. We're not saying that, but have a therapist in your life where you can talk to them, because they're a completely third person. If you're going through something and you need advice, or maybe you're entering into a relationship that has red flags and you don't know, a therapist could really open your eyes and say, look, what is he doing? What is she doing? They're controlling your money and you just met them. Oh no, that's get out. Don't go any further with this person. So therapy, it's a practice. Get us into your properties. And I would say it's important for parents to know that just because you are a parent, it doesn't give you the right to abuse your child, you know. And this has to be a practice, like I said. We're not saying you're never going to fight with your partner. We're not saying, oh, you're never going to be in conflict with each other. Of course you are. That's normal. You can have arguments and heated discussions, but it should never, ever cross the line of verbal, physical, sexual abuse, ever. You know, I hope I answered the question.
Oh no, no, you definitely did. You definitely did. So,
Okay.
um, one of the biggest questions, and this will probably be the final question. So, tell the listeners, tell my listeners how they can get involved or how they can just support the work of Osso Safe.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Our website is ossosafe.com. We are on all the major social media platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. Um, we have two platforms that are specifically for kids, for Osso Safe Kids. All kids are Osso Safe, whether they're safe at home or not safe at home. It's the TikTok and YouTube. And there we speak about abuse, about respect. If you're dating, what are the warning signs? What are the green lights to dating? Um, how do you know if you're in a bad relationship, you're dating somebody? So the YouTube and the TikTok is geared towards children. And our book is sold on Amazon. They could just look up Home Safe Home for You and Me by Sabrina Osso. It's the only book that I've written. So, and also other book. I see it on other book platforms as well, which is so great. So those are the best ways.
Okay. 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 So, um, I want to tell you that I definitely appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule because you definitely have a lot going on. To come on the show today and talk about Osso Safe and talking about how you're paving the way for a safer world for everyone, especially the children, and abusees everywhere, people that's been abused in the past, or people who may possibly get abused and they don't even know it yet. So I definitely appreciate you taking the time out to come on and talk about talk about that because it's very, very important.
Thank you so much, Alex. Thank you so much for allowing us to be on your show, on your wonderful and enlightening show, and to give us the platform to speak and to let everyone know that we exist. So I thank you.
Oh yes, yes, it's no problem at all. So everyone watching, you guys make sure you go support Sabrina and Also Safe with everything that she has going on, with everything that Also Safe has going on, and just support, man. It's an important cause. You know, tell a friend to tell a friend tell a friend to tell a friend about Also Safe. So you guys have just watched another episode of All in All with Alex, and we'll see you guys on the next episode later.